turn to my left, and a guy who I will be spending an insane amount of time with on live television on Sunday on NFL Network, my compadre from NFL Game Day Morning, the former coach of the 49ers and Lions, and one of my favorite humans on the planet. Good to see you, Steve Mariucci.
Rich,
What's
thank
up,
you.
Mooch?
Awesome. I have a question.
What do you got?
I mean, like this rug, and
Yes, sir.
you got all the, I've never seen you with a cowboy hat on in my whole life, man. Did they just draw that in?
Well,
Do you have a cowboy hat?
The interesting thing is, first of all, yes, I do have a cowboy
Do you ever
hat.
wear it?
I used to date someone from Texas, Mooch.
Anybody I know?
Whoa.
No, I don't think so.
Anybody I know.
Anybody you
No,
share to
because
talk about?
as you might imagine, I haven't dated somebody other than my wife for about a quarter
wife.
century.
Susie's listening right now, so
Probably is.
Who was this?
Probably
girl?
is. We don't need to talk about it.
Who's doing this
But
interview?
you're asking me, do I have a cowboy hat? So the answer is yes.
Fine.
But you've seen this logo before, Steve, because this is the same logo the show had the first Super Bowl we ever covered, which was Super Bowl 49 right here in Arizona as well. So this is we're using the same logo. It's the same thing.
Wait a minute.
Same deal.
Okay, great. So you know what?
Yeah.
You had Dion on?
Yeah.
How was he?
He's
Huh?
great.
I miss him.
He looks good. He was limping around.
Still, he's
Yeah,
going to
still
limp for a
limping around.
while.
I just-
He's going to limp. But
He looked great, though. I mean, he was great.
I went to Atlanta
Yeah.
for a player safety advisory panel meeting, kind of big with.
Sounds like a blast.
No, that was important. Anyway,
Yes.
So in the same hotel, the Omni,
Yes.
Jackson State was playing their bowl game that week.
Yes, so?
So I saw them. I saw Shador in the lobby. The whole team's got, Jackson State shirts on, Dion with everything.
Yeah.
And so that was his last. He goes, Moochie, I'm going to coach this game, and then I got an airplane. 12 of us are going to fly to Colorado. And then that was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
I think he's thinking his son's going to win the Heisman next year.
Shador, man. I mean, I got a picture. You want to see it? And
Yes,
so in the lobby, he's this big. He's taller than you and I.
Yeah, I know.
And but when Dion and I were coaching the Under Armour game for a lot of years together.
Yeah.
Shador used to show up like a ball boy, right?
Right.
He was like 12 years old. I made him get into the quarterback drills, and he was just this little kid, not even in puberty yet, and he was in the drills, and now he's got a chance to, for Heisman.
I know. He's supposedly that good. I can't wait to see
He's
him
a good
play in
kid,
Pac-12 and see Dion do his thing.
I know. They open up with TCU.
I know that.
Don't hold a grudge against TCU.
I do. It's too late.
But that's who they open up with
It's
on
too
the
late.
road.
It's too late.
Yeah.
All right, Mooch.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Sorry to hijack the questions.
No, by the way, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. So let's hop right into this here. Key to the game. What do you got for me? Give me your key to the game.
Keys?
The key to the game. There's one key. What is it, Steve?
There's a lot of keys. You ever see a janitor with like 400 keys
Yeah,
on his
that
belt?
sounds like a Super
There's
Bowl.
a lot of keys to this game.
Right.
Just kind of fundamentally, the team that doesn't turn the ball over probably will win. You got two great quarterbacks, and I think the Eagles have a better roster. Brett Veach,
Mooch.
I know you're watching. They have a better roster.
Everybody who sat down here today, everybody went Eagles. And you're hearing it more and more in that room across the convention center and Radio Row. We're here in the Super Bowl experience.
Yeah, because
that's all I'm hearing. That's all I'm hearing.
Me too, and because if you don't have any bias, or if you don't have your little heart into it some way, you look at the teams.
Right.
When you watch the Chiefs play with 5 rookies on defense, I mean, I asked Andy the other day. I did a little interview for him, on that 8.5-hour show.
Right.
I hope we aired about 12 times, so we can take a break. but I said, I asked him, you and Spags, man, you're playing against Joe Burrow, the great Joe Burrow, with 5 rookies on defense. I mean, you're like, oh my God, I can't watch. And so they knew they were going to be young on that side of the ball. And I don't think any Super Bowl team has ever played with 5 rookies on either side of the ball. This is probably the first.
Right.
So that's the concern I have. And even though the Eagles are more of a run-first team, they can still sling it. And with those 2 good receivers, and Jalen can do it, man. So that's why I think people think the Eagles will win this game, should win this game. But there's always a but. Patrick Mahomes is Meadowlark Lemon, and Andy Reid has something up his sleeve. He promised on national television he's going to do that ring around the rosy
No,
thing.
he's not.
He did. I said, I never asked you for
the
a
Super
favor
Bowl.
in my life.
He
I said, can you do that globy thing that you do? He goes, okay, and run a different play. So I just gave away your game plan, Andy.
We could see that in the. You think we're going to see that in the Super Bowl?
I'm holding his feet to the fire.
The snow globe thingy, the ring around the rosy.
You guys like that, right?
Why not?
Can you believe? I mean, Can you believe that Andy Reid is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach right now, Steve? I mean, you tell stories about you first met him, right, in the old hotel there in Green Bay, right, in training camp. What was that fire alarm story? Come on, tell the fire alarm story.
You always make me tell these real personal stories.
Because they're great stories. You're the greatest storyteller of all time. So what do you got here for Reid?
Gosh, I forgot about that. Not really, but here's what happened. So when we came in, and it was Mike Holmgren hired a young staff because maybe the budget was down or something. He took all the money, and we had like crumbs, and then Gruden and all. We are young coaches, right?
Right.
So we're staying to come in to sign the contract and start meetings and all that in the Midway Motor Lodge. You ever been there? Nope. It's got this translucent roof. You got a bunch of people sitting there trying to get a suntan, eating Doritos, drinking beer. It's like, oh, you can't get a tan here. Anyway, so we're staying there, and somebody at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this was a time when our wives came in because we were going to house hunt.
Yeah, sure.
You got to live somewhere,
of course, yeah.
So
but you're still in the Midway Motor Lodge, is that what you're? Okay.
Tammy's in.
Is that a half season, Steve? Is that what it is? One season? How many seasons? Yeah.
Anyway, so the fire alarm goes off. Now, I don't know what you do when you hear a fire alarm in a hotel. I hope it goes off so I can roll over and go to sleep, okay? And then if it just keeps going, it keeps going for 28 minutes, then you go, try to call. Anything going on here? Is this fake? Or you look outside and see if it's like smoke.
Yeah, right.
Or if you know,
right.
Whatever. Well, it just kept going. So now I go, and I sleep just in. I sleep in my underwear, okay? So, tighty whities. Dion would call them tighty whities.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, right.
I stick my head out the door. I'm looking for people running, escaping, smoke, anything. And I look down the hallway, and this big red head, it looked like a lion's head, come out of the door, down about 4 rooms down the other side of the hall. And I went, "Are you Andy Reid?" He goes, "Are you Mooch?" No, I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, nice to meet you." So we went out and met. He had his underwear on. I had my underwear on. We're shaking hands. How you doing, man?
In the middle of a fire alarm going off in the Midway Motor Lodge.
Hey, my wife's here. Mine too. Hey, you got to meet. I'll go back in and get our wives. Wake them up. You got to meet Tammy. You got to meet Andy. So Gail grabs the thing, puts it around her, you know, the big comforter, and comes on out. What? And that's we all four met in the hallway in a fire alarm in the Midway Motor Lodge, and that was where it started. It's been crazy ever since.
It has been crazy ever since. And he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Win or lose Sunday. Yeah. Guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You know what?
And that's it. I mean,
I asked him in the interview, I said, "Andy, you're 64 years old, man. You're older than I am almost." And I said, "People usually think about retirement." He goes, "Mooch, I'm not. I don't even think about that." And he's just getting started in Kansas City.
Why
I mean, he got the young quarterback.
Right, of course. Why do you think he's so successful? Like, what does he do? Like, what's his secret sauce here?
So Andy is a very humble guy.
Yes.
Very. He's not way up and way down like some people I know. Okay. He's like this. He's like this.
Yeah.
And he will tell you that. He's lucky to have some good coaches around him. Then he went on and been head coaches. Lucky to have good quarterbacks. Sure. You know, Donovan McNabb and then Alex Smith and then Patrick. And lucky to have good players and good general manager that were compatible and see things the same way in terms of building a roster. Howie Roseman, right, and then now Brett Veach. So he will credit all of those things. And so he has the ability to create that somehow, some way, and make everybody feel important, like they're doing a real important job. The most important job in the world is to be part of this team, kind of thing. I mean, you know, he's the only guy to win 10 playoff games at 2 places. If he left and went somewhere else, if he got a good quarterback, he'd do it again. I think he'd do it again. He's not going to retire. His health is okay. Even though he came skiing up at Pine Mountain and Iron Mountain, blew his knee out on the ski hill, and then had to get redone surgery after that a little bit.
When does he get? Is he skiing now? You're talking about?
Look at him. He doesn't ski. He used to ski. He used to be an offensive lineman.
Right. Well, I mean, I saw him as a 13-year-old in the punt, pass, and kick as Andrew Reid. That's one of the greatest videos ever of all time.
I know. They didn't check his birth certificate.
Oh, my God. He looks monster big. I mean, unbelievable.
I think, he was standing next to an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a monster back then.
Steve Mariucci
I
here
love
on
the
the
guy.
Rich
I love
Eisen
him.
Show. I know you have nothing but love for him and of him, and but I'm telling you, Mooch, everybody's choosing the Eagles right now.
I know it.
Kind
I
of
know it.
freaks
Who are you
out.
gonna pick? Who are you picking on Sunday?
I still have 48 hours left to go, but I chose the Chiefs to make the game. I chose the Niners to beat them. I didn't see, their misfortune in the NFC Championship game coming, and I just think the Eagles eviscerated that offensive line. They dominated that line. Dominated. And I understand everyone is talking about Brock Purdy got hurt, and then Josh Johnson comes in, he gets hurt, and Purdy is just can't even he's a sitting duck, and how that sunk the day for the Niners. But there's a reason why these guys got knocked out is because the Eagles
got
dominated. They kicked their ass all over the place.
Nobody tries to hurt anybody.
Of course not.
But you try to hit them.
Of course.
And if he happens to get hurt, it's like, okay, who's next? I mean,
that's
just
the way
how
it
you
works.
play this gladiator sport,
Right.
And I mark my word, fellas, I got a feeling we're going to mandate a third quarterback to be active for at least playoff games.
Wait a minute. This sounds like a guy who's been in player safety meetings, giving us a little bit of a heads up. What do you mean?
Well,
what do you mean?
If it happened in the Super Bowl where a team didn't have a quarterback left to play and it was non-competitive and you're down by 20 and you cannot or will not throw the ball, it would be embarrassing. For 200 countries are watching, they're going, what is this, right? And so, we have to discuss, and we're going to, discussing either allowing a third quarterback to come off the practice squad or mandating it where you cannot have this emergency quarterback. Oh, that one guy over there played in high school for a year. We got to protect ourselves. It happened in front of God and country in the biggest game so far, and it's not good.
So that's the first blush sort of reaction to what we saw from the Niners. So based on what is being discussed, you'd say it would count against the 53 man on the Niners for the day?
It has to be discussed as to how you get that guy up, because some teams carry only 2 quarterbacks on their active 53
all year long.
Well, some teams take 3, and the Niners had 3.
We all know.
And Brock Purdy got in there because Jimmy came back and they cut Nate Sudfeld. It was by luck. Right. But then I think less than half the teams carry 3. I'd have to look at it. But if you carry 2, you got a practice squad guy. You got a guy, a camp arm kind of guy, a Kurt Warner kind of guy. He just throws drills and then run scout team and that kind of thing. So that's the kind of guy that would come on up, or mandate that third guy's not in pajamas. He's suited up. Just have 3 available. Maybe it's an additional roster spot. It doesn't matter for a couple playoff games. What's the big deal?
Right. Yeah. Well, certainly, makes sense.
I hope we're headed there.
Well, I mean, what's the big deal?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not. You should do it.
So exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it gives more opportunity to players. Why would the Players Association have an issue with that?
They should love
it. And an owner of an NFL team, if they're sitting there worried about what, money or
we tried to on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
A couple times we had offensive linemen go short and get hurt.
Yeah.
And a couple games were finished with a tight end playing tackle. So we proposed, player safety panel proposed, because that's, is that a health and safety thing? Yeah, it could be if he gives up a sack on a quarterback and gets him killed, right?
Yes, right.
Allow a couple for a short week, a Thursday night game, to come on up from the practice squad and be ready to go in case you get in that bind, and then put them back down on the practice squad without risking losing the kid.
Right.
And there was a money issue with owners then. It was like, we got to pay them the difference between a real roster spot and a practice squad. It's like the difference between something like $7,000 for the week to $29,000. It's like, so what?
I know, so what?
Yeah.
So what?
So anyway,
okay.
I think we're headed to 3 quarterbacks.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. So who are you picking?
I'm not telling you, because you got to tune in to Game Day morning. Oh, you're on it.
I'm on it. Yeah, 8.5 hours, Steve. 8.5
Yeah, but Rich, we used to do that and the post game. So what's the big deal?
We did, by the way.
Yes.
I remember that.
Game.
Yeah, man, it's not Smooch.
Yeah.
I know that. Do you remember the Super? There was a Super Bowl in New Jersey. It was Seattle versus Denver. We did game day morning starting at 9 a.m., but we had to get up at like 5 a.m. to get, because we
get
were
over there.
Everyone was freaking out about how it would be insane to get through the tunnel, through security, through this, through that. We skated through. We were there at like 5:30 in the morning, looking at each other, going, "Now what?" You know, like it was, and we did the show, 1 billion hours long, and then the game hits, and I go back into our green room underneath the stadium after halftime. It's the third quarter. All of my analysts, except you, were asleep. They passed Dion, our second-hour guest, asleep. Everybody out like a light. And I'm like, these are the guys who were, because the game was over.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute that the ball went right past Peyton Manning's head for a safety, you know, that was, I remember that. And that was the last time that we did both. That was the last time we did both.
That was fun. Yeah,
it was good times.
Now I just give my tickets to my kids or whoever shows up for the game, and I come back to the hotel and watch the game. I can't watch a game in the green room. Too many people are talking. I like to listen to a football game.
I'm with you.
I watch it, yes, but you listen to what they're saying, right? You might learn something rather than people yapping and eating. I like the food in the green room, yeah. But
you also like going back and ordering room service.
They got food at the hotel too.
And just to show you how everything comes full circle, and Steve hasn't changed at all. You do sit there in your underwear and watch the game. That happens. By the way, this is all true. So check out Mooch and I and the rest of NFL Network. A good time for Super Bowl 57 coverage that began 10 minutes ago on NFL Network. Today's interview with Mooch is sponsored by Monster.com. Monster.com can help you tackle the job search and make your next career move. It's time for the big game. Go to Monster.com and win the job hunt. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.